Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari 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 Jaya Gopi Chandra Vallabha Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Giri Varadari Gopi Chandra Vallabha Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Gopi Chandra Vallabha Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Giri Varadari Gopi Chandra Vallabha Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Giri Varadari Jaya Yashoda Nandana Jaya Brajajana Ranjana Jaya Brajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Jaya Brajajana Jaya Jamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Jamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Jamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo! Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Oh, Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Privratikacharya Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Privratikacharya Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Ananta Kodya Vaishnava Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Jai Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. All glories and lotus. All glories and lotus. All glories of Shri Gun Shri Gauranga. All glories of Srila Prabhupada. Something like that? Someone from... Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityo Naram Chava Narottamam Devim Sartatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 2, Text 11. Oh, look at that. Kim Sambritam Ruchirayor Dvija Shringayos Te Madhye Krisho Vahasi Yatra Drishi Shrita Me Pankoruna Surabir Atma Vishana Idrig Vinashramam Subhaga Me Surabi Karoshi Kim Samritam Ruchirayor Dvija Samgayoste Madhye Krishova Hasiyatra Drishi Shriti Me Pankoruna Surabir Atma Vishana Idrig Yena Shramam Subhagame Surabikaroshi King Sambritam Ruchirayor Dvija Sangayoste Madhye Krishova Hasiyatra Drishi Sritame Pankoruna Surabi Atma Vishana Idrik Yena Shramam Subhagame Surabi Karoshi Kim Samritam Ruchirayor Dvija Shringayoste Madhye Krishava Hasiyatra Drishi Sritame Pankoruna Surabiratma Vashana Idrik Yena Shramam Subhagame Surabi Karoshi Kim Sambritam Ruchirayor Dvija Sangayoste Sambritam Richayor Dvija Sangayoste Madhye Krishava Hasiyatra Drishi Fitame Pankoruna Surabiratma Ishanu Kamsupatame Surabi Karoshi Kim Sambritam Rucharayor Dvija Sangayoste Ankorata Surabi Vaishnavis Kim what? Sambritam filled. Ruchirayo very beautiful. Dvije Brahmana. Sringayo with two horns. Te your. Madhye in the middle. Krisha thin. Vahasi you are carrying. Yatra wherein. Drishi eyes. Shrita Atmavishane on the two horns. Idrik such. Yena by which. Ashramam place of residence. Subhaga O most fortunate one. Me my. Surabhikaroshi you are perfuming. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki! Yeah. Agnidra then praised Purvachitti's raised breasts. He said, "My dear Brahmana, your waist is very thin, yet with great difficulty you are carefully carrying your two horns, to which my eyes have been attracted. What is filling those beautiful horns? You seem to have spread fragrant red powder upon them, powder that is like the rising morning sun. O most fortunate one, I beg to inquire where you have gotten this fragrant powder that is perfuming my ashram, my place of residence." Purport. Agnidra appreciated Purvachitti's raised breasts. After seeing the girl's breasts, he became almost mad. Nevertheless, he could not recognize whether Purvachitti was a boy or a girl, for as a result of his austerity, he saw no distinction between the two. He therefore addressed her with the word Dvija, or Brahman. Yet why would a Dvija, a Brahman boy, have horns on his chest? Because the boy's waist was thin. Agnidra thought he was carrying the horns with great difficulty, and therefore they must be filled with something very valuable. Otherwise, why would he carry them? When a woman's waist is thin and her breasts are full, she looks very attractive. Agnidra, his eyes became attracted, contemplating the heavy breasts on the girl's thin body, and imagined how her back must sustain them. Agnidra imagined that her raised breasts were two horns she had covered with cloth, so that others would not see the valuables within them. Agnidra, however, was very anxious to see them. However, he requested, "Please uncover them so that I can see what you are carrying. Rest assured that I shall not take it away. If you feel an inconvenience in removing the covering, I can help you. I myself can uncover them to see what valuable things those raised horns contain." He was also surprised to see the red dust of perfume kumkum spread over her breasts. Nevertheless, still considering Purvachitti a boy, Agnidra addressed her as Subhag, most fortunate Muni. The boy must have been fortunate, otherwise how simply by standing there could he perfume Agnidra's entire ashram. Om Ajnana Timarandasya Jananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Manitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rapa Kadamayam Dadati Swapatantikam Vanchakalpatrupescha Kripasantu Behevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Bakam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Lagating Yer Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gunadinir Taranam Shri Paramadamadavam Shri Chaitanya Ishvaram Namo Shrimati Jayapata Namo Jayapata Srimate Bhakti Namaste Saraswati Gauravani Bachani Nevashesh Sundvadi Pasidesh Dharine. Any questions? Sadhu, he likes to give the best verses, the best shlokas for me, for class, to see about commentary. This is a very interesting description in the Bhagavatam, that we see that in the female form, there is a great beauty. Now, this particular pastime took place in the heavenly planets, where the beauty or sensual gratification is the greatest, many thousands of times greater than on our present plane. So here, Anigdra, though a very great soul, coming from a very illustrious family, he had a sincere, honest desire. His father wanted him, Priyavrata wanted him to take care of the kingdom. So he's thinking, parampara basis, I have to do the same. So he had the proper vision that he went and performed tapasya, and he desired a wife. Now, because of his purity, because of his tapasya, by the arrangement, the demigods had sent this very beautiful Apsara. Lord Brahma, or Indra had taken the best Apsara from the company there and sent him to Agnidra. And because of his purity of heart, he was thinking, because he had never seen as far as the detailed form of a woman like this, he was thinking, this is Brahmana, Dvija. How is this? You have carrying such a great weight. And in this way, became a little bewildered. Now, because of his approach and because of the realm he was within, the most beautiful Apsara had come. And because of the purity of his tapasya, he could not understand the difference between male or female. But he was very much attracted, very uniquely attracted. So in this way, we can study, how does this apply to us? Because we are not in the heavenly planets at the present time. Though, yes, there is an attraction to female to male and male to female. That attraction is there. Just like I was thinking, like yesterday, the attraction in the material field is different for us because we have a relation with the Supreme. Through a parampara of spiritual teachers, we are connected with the Supreme. So I was reading this verse, and then I went to the boat festival yesterday. And what a wonderful festival, I must say. Very, very wonderful glorification. But within that field, there are many handsome boys there, so many handsome brahmacharis, many beautiful girls were there. But because Krishna was in the center in glorification, there's no time for this mundane approach, mundane concentration. Paramdasvanavartate. By experiencing a higher taste, one gives up the lower taste. And it's even described in the age of Kali Yuga, the demigods are waiting, they're lining up to take birth on this earthly plane because, first of all, sense gratification is minimized to the greatest degree. And ultimately, there is the establishment of the Yuga Dharma, the chanting of the holy names, which makes spiritual realization very, very easy. And the beauty is, like we see in different ages, Satya, Dwarpa, Treta, there's different supports for spiritual culture, whether the culture is in the power and meditation, whether the culture is in the power of mystic power, or within great deity worship. In the age of Kali, the power, yes, is in the Nam, but it is the choice of the jiva to take shelter of the Nam, to take shelter of that process. So this is, in one sense, we're on our own power of choice. By proper choice, we take shelter of the Supreme Lord in infinite capacity. Now, Lord Ramachandra's pastimes is unique because Lord Ramachandra showed us how to give up this sensory attraction to the wife. And as we know, Sita Devi was kidnapped. And in this way, Lord Ramachandra went on a whole mission to retrieve her. But in the same way, he was, by his example, he was teaching detachment. Because as you know, after the entire Ramayan Leela manifested, that Sita was returned. But the Lord had heard that actually some of the populace were thinking, what is this? This Ram is taking this Sita who's been in the company of another back. Of course, you are all aware of the Chai Sita who was actually kidnapped, and Sita was fully protected. But in order to make sense, that's what Srila Prabhupada has trained us to do. Srila Prabhupada and his Acharyas and Parampara have taught us about how to become mad within, but make sense without. That is the preaching. So we see in Lord Ramachandra, he wanted to teach by example how we should give up a mundane attachment towards these particular realities. Because on the material plane, when there isn't the relationship of the Lord, the devotees, in relationship to the Supreme Lord, there can be difficulty. So while contemplating the objects of the sense, we develop attachment, lust, anger, all these realities manifest. So then there we see in the problems of this sex attraction field, there is unlimited problems, and there's a cycle of problems in terms of lobh, mad, there's matsarya, all these different interruptions, moha, illusion, creates a great disturbance. So when a man says, I love you, when there's a great attraction, there's like a very much enthusiasm is there. But then ultimately a fear develops because this is not in harmony with the Absolute. Of course, in relationship for devotees, Srila Prabhupada prescribed to have a wife. Then one brings up Krishna-conscious children. That is another affair. But in the material field of sense enjoyment, it is like a happiness and distress. It's like if you see a scorpion suddenly falls. For example, the lovers are in deep embrace and deep relationship, and all of a sudden the scorpion falls. Oh! But then they see it's only a toy scorpion. It's compared to this. The Acharyas give this example that because of mundane attachment, then there's aversion. And then there's a reaction. There's even fighting. This actually happened in one Brijvasi Prikrama some years ago. There was a husband and wife had come to go on the Prikrama. And so in the morning, they were fighting. Always fighting. They had a tendency to take chai. So she liked to take chai at 7 a.m. But the husband wanted to take it at 8 a.m. So there's fighting going on. So then they'd fight, and then the fighting even got physical. But then, because I was told the devotees on the Prikrama, they observed this. So then they would, at evening time, they would have sex together. So in the morning they're fighting, and in the evening there's so much different approach. So in this way, this is basically Maitunya Agar, these shackles of sex life, when it is done with a mood for sense gratification. Now, Agnidra has become completely bewildered here. Oh, this brahmachari or gopi, I don't know who, is very attractive. And your aroma, is making my ashram smell so nicely. So in this way, because he is not linked in terms of his relationship. Of course, he's linked with the duty of his father in terms of to actually procreate, but because he is not linked with a parampara, he cannot develop that attachment. So we, even in the age of Kali Yuga, we may have various shortcomings, various imperfections, but because we have the association of a bona fide spiritual master in parampara, we've been given a mission. We can even transcend these itches for material sense gratification. So that's a tendency of the mind. Now in the 11th canto, chapter 14, text 18, there's one shloka. Buddhyamano pimadryakto vishaya ajatendriya praya pragalpaya bhaktar vishaya navidipatiyate. That this relationship the Lord has with his devotee, even if a devotee is struggling, even if a devotee is struggling with the material desires, even though that weakness may be there, still the process of Krishna consciousness by the association of a spiritual master, because one is fixed in that relationship, one will not become victimized by sense gratification. Now, Agnidra here, because of that non-connection, is being bewildered here. So in that way, we can appreciate the process of Krishna consciousness. And if we study how, according to the body we may drive, there may be various difficulties that are there. For example, Ravana, he described, because of my body, because of my difficulties, I cannot perform bhajan. So if one has a body made up of rajas or tamas, one cannot properly perform bhajan. So in this way, he was saying that better I will kidnap Sita, then I will get the mercy of Lord Ramachandra. When he had some intellect, some sensitivity, but then one head was good, the other heads were difficult. So in that way, he lost control of his situation. So Prahlad Maharaj, he describes in the 7th canto, 9th chapter, text 9, Manye dana bijanasrupa tapa shrutabe. He begins to speak about the 12 opulences that one can lose when there's sense gratification. And he describes that one may have wealth, aristocracy, beauty, one may have intelligence, but he describes 12 opulences, and he says that by sense gratification, all these opulences become diminished. And in the same shloka it says, but Gajendra, he was able to give up these opulences and surrender to the Lord. And you know Gajendra, most powerful elephant in the forest, so much empowerment, so much strength, so much opulence. And I guess if you're an animal, very handsome, the elephant. So in this way, he was able to give up because he was in a battle with an alligator. And in this way, a 1,000-year battle, and the she-elephants are pulling him from the back, and slowly the crocodiles pulling him closer and closer and closer into the water. So in this way, he had no choice Because he is an animal of land and the crocodile was an animal of the water. And plus, there was comb. The elephant was able to, the alligator was gaining strength. So in that way, he knew nothing what to do but simply offer a lotus flower to the Supreme and offer wonderful prayers that he, as Indradumna in a previous birth, had chanted. Rake Krishna Mare Ke, Mare Krishna Rake Ke. That's the beauty of the process. If Krishna wants to save you, no one can harm you. And if Krishna wants to kill you, no one can save you. So you're all distributors here. You're going out distributing books, or you're managing departments which distribute books, or you're managing a wonderful temple based on book distribution. There may be very different types of tests. But if we think in terms of I'll on my strength, we can never be successful. But the devotee always thinks in terms of we. So devotee is always thinking the presence of Guru is always there in all situations. And in this way, we become focused, we become detached towards activities which can further bewilder our intelligence. So Agnitra, he became fully bewildered in this situation. But for us, how to apply, how to understand the dangers of Maya. Maya in Spanish means fence. As we understand, Maya means that which is not. But like a fence. A fence keeps us in a certain type of boundary. So the process of Krishna consciousness is to give up this identification with material boundaries and come to a higher platform. Because if, as devotees, we become absorbed in the modes of nature, we become affected. Because if you don't take shelter of Guru, then you'll become affected by the modes of material nature. And as described, the modes of material nature are like ghosts. You have the ghost government of goodness, or the ghost government of passion, the ghost government of ignorance, that according to the arena, the body we drive, according to our mentality, we can be affected by the modes of nature. But the process of Krishna consciousness is Vishuddha Sattva, is transcendental goodness. Because we have a relationship with Guru, because we have a relationship with Krishna, though there may be some scratch or some feeling because of the bodily orientation towards sense gratification, we're able to give up this identification, knowing full well the dangers. So in other words, if we look, the beauty of a temple environment, like you see in the audience today, so many different devotees from different backgrounds, village arenas, business arenas, college arenas, so many backgrounds, different personalities coming together. But how is it that these different personalities are coming together as we see before us? And that's simply because we're putting Krishna in the center. We're putting worship of the Guru in the center, who's leading us to Krishna. I remember my Guru Maharaj once said to me in Mayapur that actually when the disciple goes back to Godhead, the spiritual master introduces the disciple to a particular Lord, the worshipful Ishtadev of that particular disciple. And then he said, and then spiritual master then becomes an old acquaintance. Now, in our present position, we find that we could never even conceive of doing any type of service without our spiritual master in the center. But it's like when a child, when you learn how to drive a bike, you put wheels on. In this way, you can actually get guidance and support. But the spiritual master gives us direct introduction to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not only on this plane, but on the anti-material plane. So what a wonderful family we've come in contact with. And it is very important that we focus in trying to develop a sadhana in order to remain chaste, to connect with our Guru, to make sense within a preaching and communication mission, it's very essential that we perform a particular bhajan. But we don't want to develop a sense of pride. That, I have been practicing the chanting for 40 years, 10 years. I'm an empowered devotee. I've done so many feats of service. A devotee sees oneself as simply a humble servant of the spiritual master. So in this way, we don't want to fall into a mood of narrow-mindedness. Because if we approach our sadhana with external motivation, Kok Balu Brahmachari, I have big beads. I remember when I was in, there was one brahmachari in Buffalo, New York. And he was known as Kok Balu Brahmachari. Big beads, 9 chickpeas a day, maybe 1 avocado. Kok Balu. Very heavy tapasya brahmachari. But then he would go on Harinam. And in Harinam, para upakar, distribution of prasadam. Yes. And you distribute prasadam in Harinam? Well, he had nice ladus. Whole tray of ladus. You know the ladu tray, very, very big. So it was Bhakti Narayan actually who followed him. Made a detour off the Harinam trail. Hey, this is Brahmachari, Kok Balu Brahmachari going with all these ladus. So then he followed him around the corner, and then all of a sudden he saw the tray go in an angle, and the brahmachari eating ladus, not easy task. Actually, as a bit of a commercial break, some of the brahmacharis, I won't mention their name, asked me to have just a bit of a birthday celebration in my room. So actually, Janava Avadut, he said just a few brahmacharis will come. So I was saying, 3 brahmacharis, very good. So then Hanuman was very merciful to make a big cake. And it was like, and they had, it was just a nice little ceremony. And Mohan Rupa came, I was surprised. I go, wow, I'm getting the red carpet treatment. But it was amazing because there was no announcement. But there was sniff. There was cake in the air. Oh. The brahmacharis have an antenna. It's called Sika. Oh, cake. Cake. I don't think the bumblebees were allowed. Maybe they were allowed entrance, or they haven't developed the Sika, proper Sika, And out of nowhere, so many saffron knights came into the small room in a guest house. And then there was a whole hallway, cake. And the management was coming in, cake. But the brahmacharis, within a 2-kilometer radius, there's cake. Oh my goodness. So, the dami buddhi yogam tam. So then, in this way, so many started to come, Jai Maharaj. Actually, you know what happened? Because generally, the devotees were making some offerings in love. So then, and they wanted, one devotee said, well, you can say something, Maharaj. But it's funny to be that after devotees, okay, let's cut the cake. And I'm sitting there. I was thinking to say something for 3 minutes, Oh, sorry, Maharaj. Then I realized it's not because they like me. They heard it was my birthday. That means we can tell Hanuman to buy a big cake and we can enjoy. Wow. Brahmacharis are so expert. Wow. Anyways, the bumblebees, you have to learn from the saffron wallas, So Maharaj, then they'll want to have program in the auditorium. I'm joking, but the more cake, the better. But we have to take shelter somewhere. So in this way, we come to a higher platform by following a wonderful process. We perform sadhana ahoitu ki apratiyata, which is unmotivated and unbroken, and because look in the present age, for example, Rishabdev, because of his purity, he would not clean the stool from his body, because his body was so pure that even his stool create aroma for 1,000 kilometers around. And we can see we're in a different age, because I don't think anyone here can qualify with that reality. So in the age of Kali, we have to be very, very sensitive to perform sadhana in order to uplift our consciousness. And we don't want to develop a sense of pride. Maya sukhaya param uvido vimudha. We become vimudha when we consort with the material energy. That's why we don't want to become proud. We simply see ourselves as a servant of a servant. Now, you know the history of Narada Muni. He was in meditation. He was performing bhajan in the Himalayas. Very beautiful, very clean. And he was focused on the Supreme. And then Indradev became a little jealous, and he made his sent. Oh, he's going to usurp my position, so I'll send some apsara. And in this way, Narada, because of his sadhana, was able to conquer the agents of Cupid. And even Cupid himself came and paid his respects, but some ahankar developed. Of course, an eternal parshada of the Lord. This is by the Lord's arrangement. But the point being is to train us. Don't become proud. So Lord Narada Muni was thinking, oh, I have conquered Cupid. I have conquered the Apsaras due to my bhajan. Then he went to Indralok, and he sat on the Indra's throne. And the demigods, oh my goodness, oh Prabhu, you are a god. How could you do this? We could not do that. And then Lord Shiva noticed that Narada Muni, there was a bit of pride, and he said, Lord Shiva just gave him instruction. When you go before Lord Vishnu, do not become prideful, because do not carry on this air. But Narada Muni, in the whole Leela, he was just becoming absorbed, you know. Look, I've been to so many Sunday feasts. I've heard the philosophy. Don't tell me about how we should be humble. I know that. But then when Lord Vishnu said to him, my dear brahmachari, kokbalu brahmachari, how is it that you have some pride? How is it that you can conquer the residents of the heavenly planets? And Narada was thinking, oh, everything's by your mercy. Everything's by your mercy, my Lord. You know the story about the disciple. Guruji, everything is by your mercy. So much opulence. Everything is by your mercy. So yesterday, it was very touching for me. First time I've been to the boat festival here. But to see the absorption of the different devotees in the different fields of service as the pujaris, caring for the deities, putting nice offerings on the boat, and putting beautiful lights on there. And then you had different devotees throwing flowers. And then your Guru Maharaj, beautifully, every time the boat would come around, he would stand and fan the Lord. And in this, so many loving exchanges were there. And the disciples are watching the Guru in this proper manner of worship. And I felt a little embarrassed because Guru Maharaj, he had given me some pomegranate fruit. And so I'm thinking, I got this big plate. I was thinking there's brahmacharis looking at that plate above. Maharaj, oh, very nice, if I was there. So I'm thinking, okay. And I'm sitting next to Guru Maharaj like this, and it's kind of like, okay, what to do here? If I don't honor this plate, because it's stated in the Shastra, Mahaprasadam Govinda, you have to simply immediately take. So then, okay. So then I hadn't eaten anything that day so much, so I was, Guru Maharaj was doing the puja, and brahmacharis are eyeing me, and I said, you got my cake. You're not going to get my pomegranates. You know? So I was putting it in my mouth like this, you know? But I was thinking, but I have to, I might as well do something I know very well is honor nice prasad. So I didn't feel guilty. Then I was every time Guru Maharaj would look over, I'm just like this. He looked the other direction. Or I tried to how to put it in my mouth. Because so many devotees are there, and I'm basically right there with the boss. So, anyways, it worked out fine. But it was wonderful yesterday to see the loving exchanges. And that is the beauty of Krishna consciousness, the 6 loving exchanges between one devotee and another. That this process is so full. And even if you may have made some mistakes in terms of maybe some attachment towards external aspects, attachment to bhajan, attachment to how good a singer you are. But we simply stay with the process, and these attachments will go in time. That is the process. So the beauty of this is that we can learn from each other. It's very sad when a devotee feels a desire to consort, to interact with the material energy, to leave the association of devotees. I remember Ramdas Swami saying that making this one point is very sad when this happens because the disciple does not have a standard. Because even though you may slip, that's okay to make mistakes. But the process is to get back up. And to get back up and begin the process again, that is the atonement. So, okay, maybe you stole too much of Maharaj's cake. Next year, don't take 3 pieces. Just take 2. Slowly, we renounce. Actually, what happened was I wanted part of the cake to give the Brijvasis. The cake, I'll tell you, was this big, this tall. And by the time the brahmacharis got through with it, it was like a little, all frosting gone. It was just a little part like this. So I gave to one family of Brijvasis. But that was a very funny Leela that had manifested. But we have to understand that, you see, Narada, he got cursed. First of all, Halavasyas, that Lord Indra had actually created 10,000 boys. And then Narada Muni came and preached to them, hey, don't worry about all this grihastha activity. Become renunciates like me. And they gave it up. 1,000 sons gone. Now maybe you might have some parents, of devotees here, maybe angry at the authorities. Jitamrita, you helped my boy leave the material world. Hup. And maybe sometimes parents can curse. I'm joking. But then Lord Brahma came to Narada saying, look, produce another progeny. So the Shavalasyas, he actually produced 1,000 new boys. And Narada Muni came. Forget it. Forget all Srihasa stuff. Be like me. Be a happy camper. Then Daksha, after losing 11,000 sons, he cursed Narada. You could never stay in one place longer to milk a cow. But Narada Muni, this is expert for a sannyasi, should always travel, is very good. And in this way, Narada Muni, as you know in the Leelas, he would do quick entrances, but creating big problems. Whether it's Hiranyakashipu telling Vishnu at the wrong time, right time, and then Prahlad Maharaj manifested, or going to Kamsa and saying, hey, do you realize that boy who's supposed to kill you is born elsewhere? You blew it. And then, So Narada Muni was so expert in this regard. So in that way, we can really develop an appreciation that even though we may be empowered like Narada Muni, never become proud. Because it's Leela and pastime, we simply want to become a servant of the servant of the servant. Then we realize that Sarvastam Chana Sri Disani Vistumata Smiti Gyano Aponam Cha. That actually Krishna, he's everywhere. He's in the hearts of all living entities. This is what a Sankirtan devotee learns, that Krishna is everywhere.
Prabhupada himself said, you distribute books for your life, someday the hand that can reach out will be blue. Haribo! And that means anywhere, whether it's New Delhi, New York City, Boston, anywhere, that Supreme can manifest. So this is the power of distribution. It means heart transformation. So some of you are distributing directly. Others are managing departments around that distribution. You all share in the spiritual cake. Now that type of cake doesn't matter who wants to take as many pieces as possible. And as I said in my other class, when I was in Mayapur, my Guru Maharaj Vyas Puja, and they're making so many announcements. And when the Sankirtan leader got up and said, yes, this month we came in second in a book distribution to ISKCON, New Delhi. So I was so happy. Haribo, Jai! These boys are the ones who stole my birthday cake. No. So in this way, our fortune is most great in our association. We don't want to develop a sense of narrow-mindedness in bhajan. Because if we're narrow-minded in bhajan, then we'll make offense in how we see others. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, if someone chants Hare Krishna, we offer them respects. So you see, between the different sampradayas, there are different approaches. But we shouldn't look at others and other sampradayas in a lesser way. We follow our path, that's true. But we should not make offenses in terms of not seeing how Krishna is inspiring them. Because what happens is, all of a sudden our bhajan will become limited. And you know the pastime of where Shyamananda, who was the disciple Hriday Chaitanya, and he was such a dear servant that he noticed in the groves of Braj, he found a beautiful, beautiful anklet. And because of his devotion, Radharani herself directly came and made a tilak over his Sampradayak tilak. Now, this is what an exalted position. Radharani comes to mark a tilak with her kankan, like this. And when Hriday Chaitanya saw, what is this? Dusra tilak? You're offending our Sampradaya. How is this possible? Take it off. And then Shyamananda was trying to wipe off the tilak. He could not do. And then Hriday Chaitanya, I'll take it off. He could not take it off. And he even took like a knife. The devotees were trying to get rid of, what is this offense against our Sampradaya? This other tilak. But he couldn't. So then Hriday Chaitanya, how possible has this tilak able to remain? And then Shyamananda said, well, it's actually Srimati Radhika has come directly to make this mark on my head. And but no one believed him. So at that time, Radharani told Sudam to go. You tell them. Because they were saying, we will believe it if Radharani comes. So in this way, Radharani delegated the response to Sridham, who hid behind a tree and said, yes, this tilak has been established by Srimati Radharani herself. Haribo! So in this way, Hriday Chaitanya was taxed. Oh, I made a big offense. So he had to feed all the Vaishnavas. Jai ho, kitchen religion ki jai ho. And in this way, was able to become freed from his offense. But these things go on through history. So let us perform our bhajan, our sadhana, with a pure heart, and be accommodative towards others, but always remember Guru, always remember Krishna. Then, despite such tests that came towards Agnidra, we will be given the empowerment to overcome these tests. This is our rare and great position, so please take shelter of this great opportunity. Hare Krishna. Any
questions or comments?
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj. Here the King Agridra wants to know what is filled in this breast. So Shankaracharya says, he composed one verse, Naristan bharanabhi desam drishtva maga moha vesham etan mansa vasadi vikaram manasi vichintay varam varam. He says that if you see the breast of a woman, don't become mad. Always think again and again that these breasts are filled with flesh and fat. So Shankaracharya says, so this is, he says, think again and again, these breasts are filled with flesh and fat. And then again, the point of, another point is there, that Krishna has such an art that he creates milk in this breast. When the child is born, for newly born child, for nourishment, Krishna creates milk, such a nice milk which is nourishing. So this is the art of Krishna.
And interesting, just like as we say, we respect for the males looking at ladies, that one sees woman as a mother. Even a small girl, the propensity for motherhood is there. So respect is given. But as I said earlier, earlier class, but the husband cannot see the wife as a mother. But respect is there in that regard. So we have very, very wonderful position here. Hare Krishna. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jaguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo.
Bhakti Siddhanta Swami Maharaj ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Basically, it's talking about wealth, aristocracy, fame, intelligence, education. It's about 7. Education, training, wealth, fame, strength. Yeah, the strength is one of them. So, these are completely undermined.